Okay, this is Mongolian Mindset, and today we're typing Mark Cuban. If you guys like the content, please subscribe. If you agree or disagree with our analysis, please comment below. But let's get this started.
What's up, Trevor?
What's going on? Welcome to the Daily Show.
Thanks for having me.
Good to have you here in person. First thing I want to know, because I see the clips all the time, everyone watches the show all over the world.
Yep.
How many people come up to you and just pitch you things in real life, like all the time? It must be your life now.
Everywhere. In the
Everywhere you go.
bathroom, sitting in the urinal, you name it. I get pitched everywhere.
Wait, what's the best pitch you got at a urinal? Do you remember it?
Turn around. No.
Congratulations, season 14 of the show.
Yes.
I'd love to know, when you started this, did you think it was going to be as big as it is? Is this a business that you saw coming?
Oh, they asked me to come on as a guest in the second season, and it would bounce around like when Desperate Housewives, remember that show?
Yes,
when it
of
wasn't
course.
on,
Yeah.
we'd take its place. And I thought, this thing is dead, so I'm just going to go on there, raise hell. Next thing you know, that we're in season 14.
Okay, so we're gonna put a point down for pragmatic because his plan was to actually go onto the show and raise hell. So we're gonna put a point down for pragmatic. What I'm noticing so far is that Mark Cuban is direct language. He's very specific, he's very concise, and he's not leaving anything up that's vague. As an informed person does the opposite. So yeah, I think we're gonna watch a little bit more, but I think we can conclude that he's direct.
Season 14, it's successful, it's fun, people love the show, it's syndicated around the world. Well, I'd love to know what you think makes it so successful. Why do we all love watching people come on and then try and pitch you an idea that you either trash or invest in or completely try and take over?
Because everybody wants to be that person who can just have an idea in their garage, in their bedroom. You know, we all get it, right? You get that feeling in your stomach and you're all fired up, you check it with your friends. But these are people who made it in front of us. And if we say yes, they go from being just a business to being that guy, that business. And that's why anybody can be that person.
Yeah. I feel like you were that person.
I was.
You know, I've read about you, and there were parts in your life where you thought you were going to retire at 35, and yet here you are, many decades later, still you look like you love. No, that's not a diss. It is many decades later.
Thanks a lot, right?
No, come on. This is true. You're living, but it feels like you. No, not a lot. You got. They're assholes. Don't listen to them. These people are assholes. What I'm saying is.
Yeah, you shooting a bird to the people. I'm gonna put out another point for pragmatic.
You're having a great time, and it feels like you haven't lost that drive. Like, what makes you get out of bed every single day if it's not the money?
I'm competitive. I like to kick ass. If you
Okay.
start a business,
All right, I'm competitive. I like to kick ass. I'm putting another point down for pragmatic, and I'm actually gonna put a point down for SENI. Point for competitive.
in my business, I'm gonna you up.
All right, so I'm putting another point for pragmatic. He doesn't give a damn about cussing. So pragmatic people, they're gonna do things and not ask for permission, and then only afterwards do they check to see if it's okay. Affiliated people check with the group before they do anything, but you can see that he doesn't really care. So I'm already gonna take pragmatic off the board with Mark Cuban. He is pragmatic. So that already eliminates 8 types. That eliminates the 8 affiliative types. So he can only be the SPs or the NTJs, or I mean the NTs. He can only be a SP or NT, just by figuring out that he's pragmatic. Okay.
Serious, for real. I mean, I love to compete.
Right, that explains a lot.
I love to compete.
That explains like the Dallas Mavericks. I was talking to someone who works on the show, and he said an interesting thing. He said Mark Cuban seems to me like one of the only super fans who took over a team. Because some people buy teams because they have the money to buy a team.
Yeah.
You seem like you bought a team because you love the team, you love the sport.
Yeah.
Everyone says the team changed because of you. Many people have credited you in the NBA of being part of changing the culture, of trying to make it so that even the people who work behind the scenes are happy and are enjoying themselves. Like, why did you decide that? You could have just gone in for a team, but you
No, I love basketball. Like, I'll get out there and I'll shoot with the guy.
Okay, so he just initiated there. So we put down a point for initiating. Go back. Look at that. He just cut him off.
Are happy and are enjoying themselves. Like, why did you decide that? You could have just gone in for a team, But you
No, I love basketball.
You
Like,
see?
I'll get
Just
out
cut
there
him
and I'll
off.
shoot with the guys. I mean, just think about it.
We're gonna put down a point for initiating, and he wanted to cut him off before that. You can see his lips move.
You love play basketball. I get to walk into
And the reason why that's important is because extroverts tend to want to initiate, and they don't like awkward silence. As in, introverts like to respond. They typically respond. They'll wait, and they'll gather themselves, and then they'll respond, and they usually stay on a topic.
Own arena, get up shots. You know, and the best part is, you know, game-winning shot, the crowd's going nuts, everybody's pile driving, jumping on the guy.
Now he's talking about what everybody else is doing, and then he gets to do something. So SENI again. But unfortunately, all the well, that'll just be eliminating a couple of the couple of other types. With him being SENI, it would only eliminate the ENTP. ENTP would be eliminated, and INTP would be eliminated with him being SENI. So that would only leave ENTJ, INTJ, ESTP, ISTP, ISFP, and ESFP. So we're down to 6 types that he could be.
I don't get arrested, right? Anybody else? You all run there, I'll arrest your ass. I run out there.
He's initiated again there. You run out there, I'll arrest your ass. So I'm going to go ahead and put him down for, that's one more for initiating. With that being said, he seems to be direct. He's telling people what he will do. He seems very comfortable telling people what to do. Informing people don't feel comfortable as much as telling people what to do. And they take a not concise, specific approach to things. So with him being direct, that eliminates ESFP and ISFP, and we're only down to ESTP, ISTP, ENTJ, and INTJ. Okay, and with him being initiating, because we've seen him initiate a couple times in this interview, we're almost down to ESTP or ENTJ. So Mark Cuban is either ESTP or ENTJ. Okay, and you can figure that out because a lot of things he's been saying in this interview are outcome. He's not using progression. ISTPs and INTJs are progression, so they really care about the process of doing something, and they will a lot of times when they explain things, they will go from a step-by-step manner into doing that. But when someone is an in-charge type like an ESTP or ENTJ, they're just pretty much talking about outcomes. They're really that's their main focus, not so much on the process. Just get it done.
I have fun.
The NBA has been an interesting period where, for a long time, politics, I mean, it was everything, NBA and NFL. And then, the NBA was seen as this place where, players were speaking their mind.
Right now we're down to ESTP and ENTJ. The difference between ESTP and ENTJ, ENTJs are TE-FI users. ESTP are TI-FE users. ENTJs are systematic and abstract. Okay, ESTPs are concrete and interest. What's in it for everybody else?
Mind was a really aware organization. Adam Silver gets a lot of credit, for instance. Many of the owners do as well. Recently, though, there's been a scandal that has rocked the Phoenix Suns. And, everyone's been talking about how to deal with an owner where he's been accused of everything from racism to inappropriate messages at work. And I think the fine came down at $10 million and a year. Some have said it isn't enough. Some have said it's just enough. What do you make of that? And more than the fine, because, that's not your job. But what do you think the position of an owner...
So you can tell the host here, the interview is informative.
...in a team needs to be in terms of how it's outward facing? Like, why is it important to be a certain way as the owner?
Rather than talking about that situation specifically, I can tell you what I think, right?
Okay, I'm going to tell you what I think. So he just initiated again, but we already know he's extroverted.
May be responsible for writing the checks for the Dallas Mavericks, but all of North Texas really owns the Dallas Mavericks. It's the only business where I get emails from people saying, my son has cancer, can you bring some players out? Will you visit? My son just died or my daughter just died. Can we bury him in a Luka Doncic jersey? There's no other industry. And when you win, when Google has a great quarter, nobody in their city, mountain, wherever it is, celebrates.
Right.
When your team wins a championship, the whole city goes nuts. The whole city's on fire, right? It's just such a different industry, and with that comes a responsibility. You have to lead. You have to be able to set examples for diversity and inclusion, and show people that, this is the real world, and we can change it, and we can be part of it and make it better. And, I think that's a responsibility that comes with owning a sports team.
That's probably why you've been so successful. It really is. You're also behind... I remember reading this, and, we live in a world where billionaires tweet all kinds of crazy things all the time. I won't mention names, but billionaires will tweet whatever, and then they'll say, I'll change the world, I'll do this, or whatever. I remember seeing a tweet of yours where you were basically talking about upending the drug industry and lowering prescription drug prices, and I was like, here we go again, hopes up, and nothing's going to happen. But you actually did it.
We're doing it. We're the real deal. Yeah, we started a company called costplusdrugs.com. And if you take any medication at all, just go there, put in the name of it, and what we...
If you take any medication at all, so let's go back. I think we get some TEF out here.
Drugs.com. And if you take any medication at all, just go there, put in the name of it, and what we do
that's outcome.
Different. Every other drug manufacturer, no one trusts the drug industry at all, right? And so what we said was, sunlight is the best disinfectant. So if you go and you put in the drug, and if we carry it, it'll show you not only what we sell it for, it'll show you our cost. And
actual cost?
Our actual cost. Well, we really pay for it. We mark it up 15%. That's it.
Okay, so he's talking numbers here. He's talking numbers here. This is TIFI. This is TEFI. Okay, he's going hard into these numbers right now. So we are close to playing this guy's ENTJ.
Really pay for it. We mark it up 15%. That's it. We have a $3 pharmacy fee and $5.
Look at all the numbers he's spitting. He's spitting numbers like crazy.
That's it. And so you know exactly what we paid. And so you can trust it. And that's the first time in the pharmacy industry where when you're buying a medication, you can trust that you're paying a fair price.
So you're making
talking about his system that they created. So that'd be a point for systematic as well. And ENTJs are systematic, ESTPs are not systematic.
Not yet, but we will.
You think the business will make money?
Yeah, we'll make money.
So then help me understand this then. As somebody who isn't a billionaire, how is it that you've decided to get into a business where you won't make money now, you will make money in the future, and you're still able to provide people with the drugs, and it seems like it's a win-win for everyone? Then why don't other drug companies just do this? Why?
Because what's happened is when someone like me has started, or anybody has started a company like this, and they're cut the cost of medications, what happens is someone buys them, right? One of the big...
So he's talking about the system right now. He's talking about the system again. About businesses. What happens is you'll start a business and you'll get that business going, then they'll start pushing numbers, and then somebody will buy you out so that they can just kill you and just keep doing what they're doing. So he's talking about the system right there. So we're putting out another point for system, and we got a point for two points for TEFI and 2 points for systematic. Yeah, it's looking like this guy's an ENTJ.
Medications. What happens is someone buys them, right? One of the big companies buys them out and puts them
away.
Buys the company.
Buys that company, so that takes them off the market. I can't be bought, right? My next dollar is not going to change my life. But if I get a chance to up the pharmaceutical industry.
Pragmatic. And he's talking about fucking up the pharmaceutical industry, which is a system. So we're going to put on another point for systematic and pragmatic. But we already got pragmatic already killed.
I just had a friend, literally 2 days ago, a guy that I knew in college, Landon Turner, is taking this drug, I don't even know how it's pronounced. And he's like, Mark, it cost me $3,000 a month. I can't afford it. Can you help? And it was literally, it's a generic. So I had our guys go into it. Not 5 minutes ago, while I was waiting in the green room, he came back. Landon was paying $3,000 a month. It's now going to cost him $63 a month.
See that?
Oh, wait, I was wrong. Wait. No, I was wrong. $63 for 3 months.
Wow.
3 months.
Wow.
So, okay.
Wow. TEFI again. So
that's how crazy this industry is.
Yeah, but I get that you can't be bought, but surely people are not happy with what you're doing. Like it doesn't seem like you are good for business.
Yeah, it's weird.
Because people like Martin Shkreli, sorry to cut you off, but people like Martin Shkreli became famous for coming in, buying a drug that people need to survive, and then hiking it up by I don't know how many 1,000% or whatever it was. But it feels like you're going to make a lot of enemies doing this. Yeah. And as you say, you're competitive, so you don't really care. But is there no way they can undercut you? Is there no way this could...
I mean, there's ways, right? But it ain't going to happen. right? So the way it works now, there's three big companies that are insurance companies.
Okay, so he's talking about the system again. He's talking about the system again. Listen to that again. He's talking the system again. There's three big companies.
It ain't going to happen, right? So the way it works now, there's three big companies that are insurance companies that own these things called pharmacy benefit managers, who are responsible for really distorting the prices.
Okay.
And then they also own the big retail pharmacies,
Some
all the big
outcomes
names you've
too.
heard of. And so they're able to control all the pricing elements. We work outside of that. So right now we're mail order. So if you go to costplusdrugs.com, like Landon will be able to buy his drug for all that less money, and then we'll ship it to him, we'll mail it to him. Soon we'll be able to do it at local independent pharmacies, but because we work outside of that system, they can't stop us.
See, working outside the system, another one, putting that down for. So, yeah.
And the cooler part about it is we all look at manufacturers of insulin and other drugs and say, they're the cause of the problem. They're really not. It's these big three companies that are distorting their prices, and the manufacturers don't have any other way to sell it. So now we can sell it for them. And so, you know, we're not there on insulin yet, but we're working on it. We're not there on some of the big brand names, but we're close. And so, you know, we literally, Trevor, I mean, 5 years from now, we can look back and say, you them up.
He's talking about the future there, so that'd be an extra point for extraction. Yeah, so, but we already know that. So we were down to ESDP and ENTJ, and what we noticed is that Mark Cuban is very systematic. He's talking about the pharmaceutical industry, what you need to do, how people can be bought out, why he can't be bought out, how that system plays out. So Mark Cuban's systematic, and he said a lot of TEFI statements, a lot of crunching numbers, outside numbers and stuff, and not TIFE. And he's not talking about what people are getting out of situation. He's talking about the system, and we did get a point for abstraction. So Mark Cuban is direct. He's systematic. He's pragmatic. Outcome focused. He's TEFI. And so Mark Cuban, and he's abstract. Mark Cuban is an ENTJ, and this is Mongolian Mindset. And it's been a pleasure, but we're out. Like, comment, subscribe if you like the content. Thank you very much for watching.